You pointed to me. Don't. What
Hey,
up?
what's
What
up?
up? This is RJ Fantasy Football talking. You know what time it is? It's championship week, people. Now I'm in one, obviously.
Obviously.
My brother over here, I don't know about him,
You know.
but I'm just saying. I mean, he's not in one, but we all, if any of us get one, we all get one together. That's how we roll over here.
I, I,
Hopefully, I can win mine and bring one home, and we can do this.
I am officially the one member of the R&J fantasy football team that's not in a championship. You, of course, are in one. Our lovely producer is in a championship game. She's the one who
Woo!
eliminated me from.
Sorry about that. My
They,
bad.
She not sorry. But we play in an all defensive
whew,
league. This was a startup league just to do something different. So there's no offensive players at all. She didn't even want to be in the league.
I did not.
Just
He
say this
forced
from the
me to
beginning.
be in
We
it.
needed an extra person. I was like, I know somebody who plays, and she's willing to be in the draft in the last minute. Didn't like she said. This is the one she planned the least for, and she's in a championship game. And
So that's a tip, R&J listeners. Don't plan.
don't plan. and so
okay then.
and so y'all, good luck to the both of y'all in y'all championship games. But I'm number one in my hockey league, so I'm done with R and J fantasy football talk for the year. I'm talking R and J hockey talk. So if you got questions about your hockey lineups
Oh
tonight,
gosh.
let me know. I can help you with that one. I obviously can't help. But hey, welcome Anita Lewis to the show. Welcome Anita Bracy to the show. We got some members of the Women's Fantasy Football League coming in as they normally do. Nita, sorry, I saw you got knocked out at the comedy club, Lee. I was rooting for you. But hey, you put up a real good fight this year. So congratulations to you on a hard fought season. Um, Speaking of the Women's Fantasy League, we got two loyal listeners that are going to be going head to head. I don't see them in the chat yet, so I'm gonna say they congrats till later. But you know, it's a good time in fantasy football. We had long, hard seasons. It went by so fast, though, right?
Oh my gosh, it went by so fast. It was crazy because that's how football do. And
Yeah.
then injuries alone has made it go back quickly because it's a new quarterback every week for
Every
somebody. I
and this
mean,
week is
it's
no
probably
different, right? It's crazy.
yeah. I try to count how many quarterbacks actually stayed healthy, and I think it was
It's a
only
smaller number than
Mahomes, Allen. Um, I really can't
oh
think of nobody else that stayed healthy,
yeah.
but it's not that many of the quarterbacks
Yeah,
that
what's
stayed healthy
the
this year.
number of quarterbacks
So
that they said
it's
played this year? It's
Woo, it was
like
a huge
it's a
number.
huge number of starting quarterbacks this season. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know it's over
it's
40.
got to be in the 60s.
Yeah, I
It's
think
got to be in
yeah,
the
I want to
50
say it
because
was
I
like 50, 60 or
55.
something like that. But basically
Yeah.
it's too many, and that's the reason I'm not in the championship game because I in one league I lost both of my. It's a two quarterback league. I lost both my quarterbacks. I could have combined my bench with my starters and still not put up enough points. So it's what it is. Welcome Angelo to the show, letting us know, hey, Nita didn't win the Comedy Club Fantasy League, but apparently she won the pot again. So she's flexing her football knowledge no matter what. Welcome Justin to the show as well. I was thinking about you, Justin, when I was watching that, and I'm gonna get your opinion on this in a sec, right? I was watching that. I know he needed some bad performances for the 49ers in order to make the championship game. So, yeah, definitely got
Man.
those. So I'm glad to see you finals bound
Woo.
in the league. Because, yo,
Yeah.
what happened to your boys?
I mean, they ran up into a good defense. I mean, that's what happens
Mm-hmm.
when you run up into a good defense like that, and they had his number. I mean, it's I don't know, man. I try not to be the guy that talks bad, but according to y'all, I'm a quarterback
You
jinx. And last
are
week,
the not just a quarterback jinx. You are the number one quarterback jinx in all
I
of
don't,
fantasy sports.
I'm not
You
gonna
should be
say
proud of
that,
yourself.
but I did say on the show last week that Purdy was a good quarterback. Now that backfired on him and he looked like crap last week.
He
So
did.
I'm gonna say he's a good. I'm gonna say he's a good quarterback again this week.
Well,
So it's
excuse me.
it's it's sad to say, but no, I mean I said he was a good quarterback. He was playing good. I just think they came out and like all the picks he threw, he had 3 interceptions in the first half, which
Yeah,
was
right.
crazy. Um, and the problem is he had a couple of missed throws, man. That was off. And then he tried to make some plays. He pulled it old Jimmy Garoppolo and he threw the ball. He
Yeah,
turned his back and threw the ball in the air. I was like, what is that? So I mean,
yeah.
I don't know, man. We just ran into somebody that was better than us.
And,
So
and and and
honestly, though,
I think I said last week that the 49ers and the Ravens are my Super Bowl picks, so we got a preview of it. And yeah, we definitely need to see some improvement on the side of the 49ers. But the other thing that happened in this game I thought was interesting was Trent Williams went down again. Now, it
yep.
started falling apart before he was out of the game, but I think he was
But it
hurt
got
before
worse after
then.
that.
So it just got worse after
Ooh.
that. So for certain, I'm starting the if not CMC, the Trent Williams for MVP because
That's
yo,
oh
you can
Lord have
see
mercy.
the impact when he goes out of the game. The 49ers don't look the same, like not even close.
Look, let me tell you something. I was, we talked that night, and I
Yeah,
was telling, when Trent Williams went down, the whole line just collapsed for some reason.
yeah,
It's like they couldn't block nobody. And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, which I knew anyway, because Trent Williams is the strength of that line. But once he
yeah.
go down, it's like, man, nobody else can do anything right. And when he went down, and then Debo wasn't really performing like he normally would, it's crazy. So, but another thing that I think went wrong, I think Shanahan he got caught up in
Uh
that
huh.
MVP race with Brock Purdy and then
Yeah,
Lamar, and then he kind of tried to he. What I think he did was he went out there and was like, "I'm gonna show y'all that Brock Purdy is the MVP," because we ran the ball, we ran 14 passing plays in the first 3 offensive drives, and we ran the ball 5 times. That's not the offense that we run. We run the ball first, and then we pass within the running game. He
right.
wanted to make Brock Purdy look good, which in turn I've seen this movie before because he did it in the playoffs in the championship in the Super Bowl against Kansas City when he wanted to make Jimmy Garoppolo the MVP and he just kept throwing the football.
Yeah.
So, but it didn't work out that way. So we know how that ended, and it ended the same way. He wanted to make Brock Purdy look good that night because he was facing off against a
The
possible
possible MVP,
MVP
the
candidate.
competition.
Yeah, yep,
And we
and
saw an instant switch in MVP. If you believe the betting odds, Lamar jumps to the top. Where I
yep.
don't honestly, I love Lamar, and I'm happy for the year he and the Ravens have. I don't think he's much, not quite to the extent I feel that for the 49ers, but the defense has been the MVP for the Ravens. Lamar's been
Of
having a
course.
good year. He's been efficient and everything, but he ain't been the reason that when that defense, hey, defense wins championships, 49ers and the Ravens. So we'll see where it goes. But I see Nita pick the Ravens in that one as well. That's why she got that pot going. So good for her. Let's hit some questions. For the one person I know in the chat that is in a fantasy football championship, other than you, of course, and our producer, who are you picking, Isaiah Likely or Darren Waller, for a championship game?
Darren Waller looked good like
When
late
he
in
got
the
the ball,
game.
yeah, it took a while to
Yeah, when
get,
he got the
yeah.
ball. But I think likely I would go Isaiah Likely because he's been involved in the offense a lot
Mm-hmm.
since uh Mark
Since
Andrews
Mark
got
Andrews
hurt.
went out.
So
Right.
yeah, so I think I like Likely. I like Likely a lot because
Yeah,
he's
he's a really good.
athletic.
We liked him his rookie
Um
year, and we had him
yeah.
on the watch list of young guys.
He's really athletic. I think they use him different than they would use a Mark Andrews because they have him running little pick plays and
Mm-hmm.
little out plays, so they got him running different routes than a Mark Andrews. Honestly, he's a big receiver. Other than I would say like a tight end, I think you could use him as a big receiver with a Mark Andrews back there. So I
Right.
think they should think about doing that next year. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I see. Going back to your comment, I think this is related to Kyle Shanahan's use of Brock Purdy and before with Garoppolo. I think Angel was mentioning that he also did the same thing in the Super Bowl with the Falcons, where they had that monstrous lead and lost. Yeah, that was just embarrassing for them. So your boy Kyle's got a history of messing stuff up.
Well,
messing
Kyle
up good
Shanahan,
stuff. Well, Kyle Shanahan.
Well, he had to. They ran the ball like even that Super Bowl with the Falcons. They were up by a lot, and it was running the ball, and they was winning. And he just stopped running the ball that second half, and they just literally started throwing. The same thing in the Super Bowl. We was up by 10 going into halftime, and then he stopped running the football. I don't understand. Debo didn't touch the ball no more after that in the second half. Yeah. And the same thing happened in this game.
Justin pointed out 4 catches on 12 targets for Debo.
On 12 targets, yeah. So that's the thing. Like, Debo didn't do well. He got going late in the game, but I mean, Kittles was the only one that really did anything early and often. But other than that, it was. But I think a lot of it was once he got that first interception, that second interception, he got rattled, and he started just trying to make plays. That one when he ran around and scrambled and tried to throw across his body, that was a mistake. He shouldn't have did that. I mean, it was a bunch of plays where he shouldn't have just did it. A lot of people are saying, well, 2 wasn't his fault and that 2 was. No, when you throw across your body, that's a mistake. All of them were bad plays. So, I mean, it is what it is, though. But we got to regroup this week. We play Washington. I will be there for that one. So, but they say I'll be there for that one. I'm leaving Sunday morning. But they say he got a stinger.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll see about that. But okay. But yeah, I think I like Likely though, man. I think he's a good play, man.
If I got to pick between those, I love Darren Waller. You know, he used to play for Las Vegas, but that offense with the Giants to me is just too unpredictable. Where you saw how long it took for them to get to Waller this past Sunday.
Yeah.
I just don't trust that offense. Now, Tyrod, we talked about there's a lot of quarterback changes. Tyrod Taylor's going in as the starter this week. I think that should help Darren Waller, honestly. But if I'm if I'm on championship, I'm with you. I'm gonna go Isaiah Likely on that one.
We'll go Isaiah Likely.
All right. We mentioned earlier. I said I had the Ravens as my Super Bowl favorite at this point. 49ers are the likely team, I still think, on the NFC, despite that loss this week. But Justin pointed out the Bills. He thinks they can make it. I actually like the Bills as an outside team to do it. They
love the Bills.
Play well most of the year, but they're getting things going at the end of the season. And so, yeah, I think the Bills are a team I don't think anybody really wants to play in this playoffs.
I think the Bills could win the division. It depends on what the Dolphins do the last 2 games, but the Bills still can win the division. I think they're a tough out. I do. Yeah. I think the way they're playing right now, they're such a tough out. I don't think nobody really want to see them. I think that's the team. Josh Allen is playing at a high level right now, and James Cook is playing at a high level. So
they finally got a running game going. Even in the passing game, James Cook is looking real good. I see Nita made a comment on Russell Wilson. We're gonna get to the NFL news and the craziness of quarterbacks, but let's hit some more of these questions. You got to start one of these. George Pickens, who had an awesome game, coming off the criticism for not blocking. Adam Thielen, Jalen Warren, and Douglas. Who are you starting out of that group?
That offense in Carolina is it's hit and miss. Thielen he's been high and he's been cold this year. This is kind of tough because Jalen Warner didn't really do. He played well last week, but I think do they do it again? That's the question. I'm gonna say Pickens.
I was gonna say Pickens as well.
I'm a big Pickens fan. I think Pickens in the right situation, right quarterback. I think Pickens can be really, really good. And he played good last week, so you see what he can do when he got a quarterback that can give him the football. So I'm going Pickens on this one, and I'll play Pickens proudly with no problem.
I think that's going to be an interesting game with the Seahawks. But the thing is about Tomlin is he never has a losing season, and so he's got to win one of these next games coming up. And so I don't think they win. Excuse me. Unless they have Pickens involved. And so, of those group of guys, he's the one I'm most confident in having a productive week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you on there. What about picking two for PPR? JT, I guess it's Jonathan Taylor, Raheem Mostert, Karen Williams for the Rams. Who you leaving out?
This might sound crazy, but
that's a hard
JT.
one to cut anyone because those are three good. Those are three good options.
Mustard is a touchdown machine right now.
I can't justify sitting Mustard at all right now. Nah,
you can't justify. And Williams gets all of the carries with the Rams, and the Rams are playing really well right now.
Yeah,
it would be JT for me, but slightly. But it definitely will be JT because
you know who Jonathan Taylor's playing against, that rugged defense for the Raiders that's looking unbeatable suddenly.
Yeah.
And my usual mantra: if you have a running back going against the Raiders, start that running back. I ain't been saying that the last few weeks, if you noticed.
Look,
so yeah,
I picked up the Raiders defense.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit JT. As crazy as, like I said, crazy as it sounds. You got to pick one between Jacoby Myers, Drake London, Addison, PPR. Who you starting off that list?
Is Addison clear? Is he clear to play this week?
Yeah, that's the first question. But even if he is, I don't think I play Addison.
Nah, I think I'm playing Drake London and Jacoby Myers.
But you can only play one. Though. You can only do one of the three. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. The way that passing offense looked last week for the Raiders, 62 yards for Aiden O'Connell. I would say Drake London.
Yeah, Addison, I don't know if he's cleared to play because I know he had a concussion. So I don't know if he's cleared.
I know for the running back list, I loved all three of them, and it was tough. This one is tough because I'm not really in love with any of them, but Drake London, I think, is above all of them.
Yeah, I think Drake London is probably the best because he's probably the healthiest. Because Addison's not healthy, and we got to think about that offense at 62 yards. Yeah, I'm going Drake London. So.
Hey, welcome Keisha to the show. Also getting eliminated. Let me talk about this for a second while we edit. Keisha was, I think, number 2 in the Women's Fantasy Football League, and she lost, unfortunately for her. But the number 1 team in the Women's Fantasy Football League also lost. So it's, I think, a matchup of it's the 3 and the 5 seeds in that league. But I've seen that in a whole bunch of leagues. Like, I'm gonna cry my own river. I was number 1 in our Gridiron League the whole season, but I told y'all of my woes with my whole lineups going out. And so I lost, and the number 2 team lost, and then in our barbershop big money league, exact same thing happened. So in a lot of these leagues, and a lot of it had to do with the injuries that happened this past week and bad play, like for your guys from Drake. It is 3 and 5. For the women's league, I'm told, but yeah, the bad play of like Brock Purdy, I know took one person out. I could think of, but it's a lot of poor play and injuries that really made this semifinal week difficult. So if you made it to the championship game, congrats to you, because a lot of people that led throughout the season are not in their championship games this week, and I feel their pain. But let me remind y'all, I'm number 1 in my hockey league, so.
Oh my gosh, we don't care about that.
I just think some people might want to know. Let's hit up some more of these pick one questions. You got to pick between. Is this a kicker? No, wait, Tucker. Tucker, Kraft, or Waller need one. That can't be Justin Tucker, right? We don't do kickers. No, right? And you wouldn't pick between. It has to be a tight end because Waller's in there.
But I don't. You gotta do Waller.
Yeah,
I don't know about Tucker Kraft. So
okay, that's one name: Tucker Kraft or Waller.
Yeah,
okay. I thought it was a comma. I see.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Waller.
I'm
Opie Cunningham. Is Opie Cunningham Brock Purdy. Is that a nickname? Because I don't know any.
I guess. I don't know.
Well, if that's who's overrated and overhyped, then I can't help but agree with you.
Yeah,
Which defense are you picking? Chargers defense or the Rams defense for this week?
the Rams. I'm not touching the Chargers defense.
At some point, you think they have players on that defense.
They do.
They do
But they
have
don't play
players.
well.
But yeah, I'm with you. If I got to pick between those, it's gonna be interesting to see what's we got to get to this quarterback news because a bunch of these questions keep popping up, and this one kind of goes around there. Are you gonna trust Stidham against? I don't think I risk it. I'm with you. I think I go with the Rams just because I go with the known quantity. It is kind of tempting, but I don't have enough faith in the Denver Broncos defense. So
Yeah, that's just
against that. So they have a new quarterback in, but I mean the Chargers defense to me, is not reliable enough. Nita still says she's got the Super Bowl going with the Eagles in the race. I like the Eagles. They need to get their stuff together. Them and the Chiefs need to get the Eagles managed to win,
Whew.
but they almost lost to the Giants, and to me that just tells me
Barely
they
won.
need some help. Keisha said talk about this year. Purdy didn't go well. Yeah, that was a bad thing, and yeah, I see you, Justin, with the Yankees. I'm not gonna comment on those that New York team, but I will comment on the Dodgers. I know you baseball isn't your sport, but have you seen they spent like over $1 billion in free agency this off season, and primarily on two players, right? On two players. The Dodgers have spent more on their off season than the rest of Major League Baseball combined. It kind of reminds me of what the Rams did a few years ago in the same city in order to win a championship. What do you think?
Buy a championship. They're going to buy one.
They're going to buy it. Exactly. So it's going to be interesting to see if it works out. You spend $1 billion, you kind of have to win. If they don't win the title, then, that was the
Yankees do it. Don't the Yankees do it?
Every year.
Remind me.
And they don't win.
They did. You should do it right. Okay. I just want to make sure because, I don't follow baseball, but I'm not obliterate to baseball.
Yeah.
I know Steinberger used to buy teams to win, so I do know that. But
all you got to know is the Yankees suck, and that's pretty much baseball in a nutshell. So
okay. I know Frank Thomas. That's about it. That's it.
I'm gonna keep moving.
I used to be a White Sox fan when I did watch baseball.
You went back in the days a little bit right there. Justin says, does he win? I'm not even going to look at it. I'm going to say, yeah, Justin, you watching RJ Fantasy Football Talk, you're winning your championship because you took out the number one team, and your squad is loaded. Let me look at it, though, anyway. You think he's winning? She's going against Josh Allen, though. I do see that. But other than that, I think
he gonna win.
I think that's a solid win.
He got Saquon.
Yeah, you got too many ballers.
Jalen Hurts, CeeDee Lamb. He good.
Olave, you can't.
He should win.
Playing against on the Saints, you can't. Well, Olave puts up numbers, but I don't think you can rely on him to have a blowout game.
No.
The person with Olave on their dynasty was chiming in. David Montgomery is getting into a split more so with Gibbs. Yeah, I think you got more of the solid players. So, hey, put that championship on the mantle, buddy.
I think he wins that.
We're watching some Christmas movies. Oh, I forgot to say at the top of the show, if you're wondering behind me, I am in the Big Easy. And so, shout out to New Orleans. We down in here with the Gumbo and the Po' Boys, having a good blast for Christmas and through the New Year. I guess, hey, let us know in the comment how y'all Christmases went. We probably should have started. I think we got most of the questions, comments out the way. Let me know if I missed something. But hey, let's hit some of this news. NFL news.
Man, let's talk quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks are the news.
Let's talk about Russell Wilson. Um,
Uh,
so it's weird. This is a weird story. And I think it's their fault. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because they
uh,
signed him to a contract. They knew he was kind of semi not the same Russell Wilson
he's past his
a
prime.
little bit when he was past his prime when they got him, and they gave him, correct me if I'm wrong, 200 something million
It
dollars,
was he ain't get Deshaun Watson money, but he was pretty close to it. It was 200 and something million. I think 170
242.
guaranteed or something like that. 160,
Yeah,
170.
so he's guaranteed $39 million already going into next year. So what they did was they benched him because if he was to get hurt and not pass a physical, he would get an additional $37 million.
Right.
This is poor management in its finest. You don't put that clause in there. And this, but the bad part is he's got better numbers than a lot
Yeah.
of quarterbacks this year. I mean, a lot. He's got 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So at the end of the day, he's doing pretty well in my book, and he's got over 3,000 yards. So he probably would end around 3,500,
Yeah.
3,600. But that's the going rate this year for quarterbacks anyway, because everybody hurt. So I think he's having a productive year. They're saving themselves some money because they didn't want to pay him, but then they're gonna release him, and it's gonna be a
Yeah.
$87 million cap hit
It's
next year.
a hit. Yeah.
But you knew this after last year when you watched him. I don't know if you could have got out of the contract then, but you knew this. I'm trying to figure out what's the problem. Like y'all knew y'all had to pay him, so now it's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's crazy. I say get your money. The problem with it is they asked him at the beginning of the year to restructure his contract, and he told them no. I'm glad he said that
Yeah.
because why you want me to restructure? I'm not restructuring. Y'all signed me to this contract, so no, I'm not gonna do it. So y'all gotta eat this money and give it to me. Either that or sit me on the bench and still can get paid regardless because
Mm-hmm.
it's like they're making him the number two instead of doing remind you of Derek Carr last year. Same thing in Oakland. I mean, with Vegas,
Uh-huh.
they said go home, go home. We don't want you.
Yeah.
We don't want you to get hurt. We'll still pay you, but go home. Let the man go home. Now I'll let you go your spiel, but I do want to know after everything, where do you think he goes, even when they cut him in March?
Let's see. The big part of that is there's so many teams. We were talking earlier before the show. This is gonna be a really wild offseason, I think, with coaches and quarterbacks,
And coach.
because
Yep.
not just because of injuries, but there's a lot of teams that discovered they need a quarterback, and I think a veteran like Russell Wilson is gonna get some traction out there. Hey, Russell Wilson ain't what he used to be. But he's like
Mm-hmm.
you said, his numbers still look decent. He has fewer interceptions than he did last year. He, of course, they're sitting him these last two games. If they let him play, he might have actually, because I think he had 11 last year. He's at 8 now. So if he played the last two games, he might actually
Yeah.
hit it. But the point is, for now, he's thrown less. But you could see this brewing like throughout the season. There's been many occasions of Sean Payton just laying in to Russell Wilson on the sideline in the ways you never saw him lay into Drew Brees. Uh, and I think it's kind of embarrassing. A veteran quarterback like that, you could handle that, I think, a lot better. I don't think that says a
Mm-hmm.
lot for Sean Payton. But you knew there was problems. So, yeah, I totally think this is just the fact of Russell Wilson wasn't his guy. I don't think he really bought into Russell Wilson to begin with. He's just going to try to make it work. But since it's not going and Sean Payton's reputation is on the line, I think he just wants to get his guy in. That's the thing what happens when you switch coaches like that. But
Mm-hmm.
where do I see Russell Wilson going? Like I said, there's a lot of teams in need of somebody. Here's one that would be an interesting look, but you don't know who the coach is going to be. They need some help in Washington. It's not going to be Ron Rivera there, and
Nope.
I think maybe you don't see Sam Howell there. They need another quarterback down in Atlanta that we talked about earlier, because Desmond Ritter ain't him, and
Nope.
I don't think he's ever going to be him. I think both of those are spots where a Russell Wilson is an improvement on what you have, and I think he can be something good for those teams. And
Yeah.
they have lower expectations. The expectation bringing in Russell Wilson with Denver was, oh, they're going to be competing for a Super Bowl now, when they obviously weren't. We said that we didn't see that in the cards. But those are teams where the expectations are a lot lower. They just need some, and I think that's kind of the setup he needs. A team where he's just in there as a stable veteran, because I'm not saying he's
Yeah.
at the end of his career, but he's past the point of being, I think, a lead quarterback in this league. He's not that dude
Yeah.
anymore. If he was ever really that dude, honestly.
I think Washington will be perfect because now, and like you say, the coaching situation in
Yeah.
Washington has to be fixed first. But I mean, I think if, and I've been saying this and I'm gonna keep saying it, you have the coach there already.
Uh huh.
You have your coach there already. So if you give him the job, which is the offensive coordinator, if you give him the job, he can make Russ look halfway decent.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be perfect for Russ because Russ really going to Washington, you're not expected to win. No
Yeah.
offense, but you're not expected to win anything right now anyway, just because the way the team is. But I think at the end of the day, if he goes there and if they win anything, if they
Mm-hmm.
win a division or they make the playoffs with that last seed, it's more than what they've done in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So I think going to Washington would be probably a good fit going down there. And he's kind of from Virginia slightly because he's
His
from the area,
granddaddy
not this
is,
area.
so yeah, he knows the area.
Yeah, so he knows the area. So I think it'd be fine for him to go to Washington. I think Washington's a good landing spot, to be honest with you. Now, like Atlanta, I think Atlanta needs to go younger. I think they need to
Okay.
go kind of not younger in the sense of drafting a quarterback, but they need to find somebody, Trey Lance, to go down there. So I think that'd be perfect for him. You know, I got to throw it out there.
You
That's
gotta,
my
you
guy,
gotta, you
man.
gotta support your boy.
You got to support my boy. So I think
Uh,
he'd be perfect.
can I
And
throw a
then,
wild card to see what you think about this one? I
yeah,
heard somewhere, I don't buy it. What do you think of a trade with Chicago? Or
Justin Fields going
with
there.
Justin Fields going to
I think
Denver? They
Justin
try to
Fields.
get Russell Wilson up there in Chicago and use those draft picks to fix other holes in their team.
I think it's good. I think because
Yeah.
I think they don't need to bringing in Caleb Williams doesn't help them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry. I mean, I know people like Caleb Williams, but Caleb Williams' daddy alone is gonna be like a the ball's dad. He gonna come in and try to do stuff and say stuff. He gonna be too much, and they're not gonna be winning, and then he gonna be pouting because that's what he does. Um, Me personally, I'll say go get a Russ because you have the number one pick and the number eight pick. Go get a
Mm-hmm.
receiver that you need,
Yeah,
and you may even go need
they
to get a
need
running
so
back.
much. Yeah, that's all I.
Yes,
Yeah, Russell Wilson is at least
yeah. Caleb Williams is
a stable guy there.
a
I
serviceable
don't think they do
quarterback.
it. Yeah, I think they want to use one of those picks on a quarterback if they're not going to keep Justin Fields. I see Nita saying Justin Fields is a favorite to go down to Atlanta. That would be an interesting one. I say that. The second
I
coming of
mean, yeah,
Michael Vick.
I like just now. Like you see her first comment first, he doesn't want a real black
Yeah,
quarterback. I mean, but
Justin Fields would be that.
I mean, I think Michael Vick kind of put a stigma on him, on
Yeah.
the owner, like he won't trust the black quarterback. But that's not.
Mm.
I mean, we all love Michael Vick, but you can't compare the two. You can't lump them in the same conversation. Justin Fields may come there and actually play well because there's more talent in Atlanta if they just
Then they
decide to
obviously.
use it. But the problem is they need to fire the coach.
Yeah,
That's what they need to do.
that's the coach I'm
Yeah,
waiting to see bounce, because yeah, that
yeah.
Arthur Smith thing is terrible.
I mean,
By the
you
way,
got
yeah,
Bijan Robinson and you got Bijan Robinson, Drake London,
Kyle
and you got
Pitts.
Kyle Pitts at tight end. There's no way you're not. You should be using them the right way. You're not even using them.
Yeah,
Stop it. You should be fired alone off of that.
yeah. Yo, by the way,
Okay.
I see you, Justin. He's noticing. Number one, you said no one cared about my hockey league. Yeah, Justin cares and predicts you would be last in hockey. You won't even.
Well,
Instead, you won't even be last. You won't even try. You need to
I
jump
ain't even
in
gonna
on
play.
it.
Nope. After this fantasy season's over with, I'm
You're
done until
done.
next year.
You're
So no,
hibernating until like July,
hibernate.
June of
Yeah,
next
that's
year.
right.
Do you watch
Oh yeah,
Nightcap with Uncle Shay and Ocho?
yeah, I do. Love them. Oh my
Okay.
gosh, they're funny. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're funny.
I
You gotta
can't
watch
say
it.
I've ever seen it. I did
It's good.
see
It's
I did see it wasn't with Ocho, but the last time I saw Shannon Sharp was when Marshawn Lynch was on the show. But I ain't gonna lie to you, I watch it. If you put Marshawn Lynch on anything, I'm watching it just because Marshawn Lynch is
well.
that entertaining.
I'll say this: the nightcap show. If you
Yeah,
watch Shannon Sharp on First Take, that's the Shannon Sharp on TV where he
yeah,
has to be kind of like some type of in the right way. He can't say the wrong stuff. He got to be polite.
yeah,
But on the nightcap, they talk about everything,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's funny. It ain't
Well,
for kids. I tell you that. So
with a name like
it
Nightcap,
is.
it probably shouldn't
Yeah,
be.
oh, bro, it's not for kids. It ain't for it's not even for teens. To be honest
Yeah.
with you, they talk about everything. Yeah, so nah, it's
Now,
it's a good thing. I like it though. It's funny.
now
Ocho is funny.
I see Angelo saying we need Justin. Is he saying we as in the people of Atlanta or we as in the people up in Pittsburgh, the Steelers, needing Justin
I would say
Fields? That's
Pittsburgh.
the question. Um, I hate to give up on my man Kenny Pickett, and I'm not gonna do it yet.
Okay,
I'm not gonna do it yet. But I will say this has been a very discouraging year watching him
of
play.
course.
So
Kenny Pickett, I'm gonna tell you, Kenny
yeah.
Pickett. He hasn't looked good this year.
Nah, not
I
at all.
mean, and I was riding for Kenny Pickett.
I can't throw any support his way because he's giving me nothing to be proud of. I want it to be,
Yeah,
but yeah, we'll see.
yeah.
We'll see where that
I
goes.
mean, I think Justin Fields is. I think it'll be the wrong move by getting rid of Justin Fields.
Yeah,
Um,
you mean for the Bears to get rid
but
of him?
I also,
You
yeah, I
think
think it's the wrong move.
okay?
I think they should hold on to him. I think going a different because you bringing in a quarterback that's gonna have to learn the system again.
Okay.
He gonna have his fails because he's a rookie. He's gonna come in. He's gonna have to learn the ropes of the NFL. It's gonna be like starting over again when you can go get a receiver with that pick, even though people don't like drafting receivers high like that. But
Yeah.
if you think about the receivers
Marvin
that came in the
Harrison, I
league,
would
like,
do.
but what I'm saying, think about the receivers that has come in the league the
Mm-hmm.
last 5 years. They all have been really great receivers
Mm-hmm.
out the gate.
Yeah.
So
And Ohio State
honestly,
has
you can't.
produced several of them. Ohio State and LSU.
Yep.
So I'm all in on that. I'm seeing a lot of votes for Nightcap, so I'm gonna have to commit
Yeah,
some
Nightcap's
time
good.
to check it out. Can I watch it on you?
Oh
I
yeah,
don't even know
Nightcap
where
is.
can I catch it on
It's on
YouTube?
YouTube.
Okay, I have to.
It's on YouTube. Yeah, it's on
Cool.
YouTube. It's funny. It's definitely. Now they got one with they got Gilbert Arenas up there too. He's on some of the shows, so it's definitely it's good.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, so switch back to Russell Wilson. I see earlier Nita said she should Draymond Green, Sean Payton. We ain't gonna
Bro,
support the violence, but I can understand. But Russell Wilson ain't that
I
dude.
can understand. Nah, he
Draymond
ain't.
got some hoodness in him that Russell Wilson ain't ever even thought about having. I can't. The worst Russell Wilson would do would be pray for him, fiercely. So yeah, I can't even
See,
go on with that one.
well, the thing is, Russ is about his image. So Russ wouldn't do nothing like that. Russ is the type of guy. He'll be like, "I got you.
Uh,
Don't worry about it. We cool." He not gonna hit you. He not gonna scream at you because he about his
yeah,
image. In the back of his mind, Russ know, look, I'm getting $39 million next year. I don't
yeah,
care what you say. Y'all can cut me. Y'all can trade me. Y'all still gonna have to pay me for the next 2 years. No matter they got to pay him $58 million for the next 2 years if they cut him. It don't matter. You can cut me all day long. I'm gonna go get $58 million y'all, and then get another 2 year contract from
basically.
somebody else. Because do they offset if he signs with another team? Does that offset?
I
How does
think
that
other
work?
teams can absorb a part of the contract. I think that's how it gets done
if
a
he
lot
gets
of
cut,
times. But if he gets cut, I think the money is just his. Yeah, I don't think that applies if
okay.
you get cut. I don't know.
Oh
They
yeah, that's
can
what I'm
probably
saying.
work it out. And we do have some confirmation that the we was related to the Steelers. I kind of figured, and yeah, I do recall Angelo never being big on Kenny Pickett. I'm still gonna hold out some hope for him, but it's only like that much hope that he can put it together in the next year. But right
Well,
now, he just
the pro
he's a
the
king of
problem with
preseason. I give him that. I can't get it
I
together
mean
in
the
the regular
problem with it
season.
is the problem is this: the Pittsburgh Steelers are loyal to a fault at everything they do.
Yeah,
So it's like they stuck with Matt Canada for so long because they were loyal
yeah.
to him until it was the noise got too big and they got rid of him. Now I think the only way it changes is to get a new coach, which I don't see them doing it.
I don't think they're gonna get rid of Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin gonna be there forever. So Mike Tomlin may be loyal to him. Now, what I would do is I will bring in some competition.
Oh
I will
yeah,
bring in somebody
for
to
certain, and
to,
not
to
Mitch
I
Trubisky
wouldn't just hand
or
him the job.
Mason Rudolph.
No,
Of course,
no.
Mason Rudolph looked alright this past
Okay,
week. But
okay.
yeah, he ain't competition. I'm with you
No.
as well.
I mean, if you bring in Justin Fields, it shouldn't be a competition anyway. You should give
Oh
the
no,
job to Justin
Justin
Fields.
Fields should win that
Uh,
hands down.
it shouldn't be a competition though. But if you're gonna bring in any competition, bring in a veteran, Flacco, somebody like that to push
Hmm.
him for the job because obviously Flacco still can play a little bit. So
Can he though?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, Russell Wilson wasn't the only quarterback on the chopping block, and no, neither he doesn't have an inner throat to call upon. We also saw switches with Jacoby Brissett with the Commanders, and we saw
Yeah,
I think I mentioned earlier Tyrod Taylor coming in
Tyrod Taylor,
for a little Danny DeVito.
Danny
um,
DeVito's
are you playing
nephew.
if you're in a well you are in a championship and I know you don't need it, but if you're desperate with all the injuries, are you playing Brissett or Tyrod in your championship game?
I mean, you may not have no choice if you
Yeah.
don't have. Luckily, I have Patrick Mahomes, so I'm good. But if you had the Herberts of the world and the Barrows and these other quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins, and you was looking for something just to kind of piecemeal it together to play in a championship game,
Mm-hmm.
I would say yes. But the thing is, the matchup in Washington plays the 49ers this week.
Yeah.
How much is he gonna do?
Yeah.
Um, Angela stupid. Angela say no. No, Angela. I won't say
Hey,
it like that, Angelo. I say somebody like a Flacco. I'm not. I'm just saying because Flacco, he
hey,
does look good. He
Flacco's
look
balling
good.
right now
I
in
mean,
Cleveland. They might want him over Deshaun.
no, not
Hey,
even. No,
they're
no.
in a worse situation than the
I
Denver
mean,
Broncos were with Russell Wilson. So
Angelo.
that ain't switching.
Nah, Angelo. I'll say if you can get, but the thing is, you would have to cut uh uh Pickett, right? You would have to cut him, right? Because he's on a rookie deal,
He's on a
right?
rookie deal.
He's got a rookie deal, so he's got what a year left on his rookie
Yeah,
deal,
yeah. This is
if I'm
going
not
into his
mistaken.
third
So
year.
you would have to cut him, or either just make him the straight backup, because obviously he's going to start. But I mean, you got to go if you want Justin Fields, you go for him
Yeah,
because obviously Chicago don't want him. But back to what you asked me, I'm not playing nobody. Our defense didn't look good this week,
yeah,
obviously. Um, but I think that changes against Washington. I
yeah.
think we still play well against Washington. So I'm not playing Jacoby Brissett, even though he's a good veteran. I'm not even. I mean, Tyrod may play well,
Mm-hmm.
but it's hard, man, because you don't got really no good quarterbacks out there right now to even
Yeah.
put out there if you wanted to. So I don't know.
Well,
It depends, man.
look, I'm the guy who started Aiden O'Connell on one of my teams last week, so I would start
That was
anyway.
tough.
That was tough.
Tough sledding there.
That was a tough play. I didn't like it when I did it, but I was hoping against hope. But I will say, let me have a moment to talk about my Raiders. Antonio Pierce nailed that job down. If Mark Davis doesn't
Yes.
hire Antonio Pierce, then he is
Crying
the
shame.
worst owner in the history of owners, because that should be a solid sign. They should honestly do it before the season's over. They shouldn't even wait for the off season. They need to just make that man the coach, because he's got that defense playing on a whole nother level. When your quarterback throws for
Mm-hmm.
62 yards and you still win the game, then you know defense is doing work. They got 14 points off of defense, and that's the only reason they won that game. So I think that the job is his, and I'm just waiting for that announcement. Hey, the Raiders are still technically in a position to win the division. We'll see how these last
That's
2 weeks
crazy, ain't
go. It ain't gonna
it?
happen.
Yes.
I
That is
think
crazy.
the Chiefs have
He
it.
said that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy as can be. But yeah, just the fact
Yeah, it's
of
crazy.
how they played since he's taken over as the interim, to me, it's a
Well, let me
no
ask you
brainer.
this:
Yeah,
is it a 1 year deal, or is it more like a traditional 3 to 4 year deal that you normally would give a coach, or is he on a
you can't
1 year
do it on a
leash
one. You
to
can't.
where he
Yeah, nah. You got to give him at least three uh, 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 to sign him. Hey, the man has shown in this short season what he's capable of doing, and the biggest thing about it is the vibe that he gives the team, because
yeah,
they
yeah.
were playing like dead men with Josh McDaniels. He, like, by himself, breathed life into that team. You can see the swagger of the old Raiders vibe coming back since he's been the coach. You
Okay.
give him 3 years minimum. I would not even be mad if they went 5 years with him, because the Raiders need some sort of stability. We haven't had stability
Okay.
since John Madden. I don't know. The team
It's
has
been a while.
been up and down and in complete turmoil. They need to set a tone. You talk about the Steelers and their loyalty. I think that's the reason you see the Steelers continually being successful, because if you're going to
Hmm.
have a successful franchise, you got to have some sort of stability. People have to be able to look at the coach and say, okay, this is our dude. I got to fall in line, because he
True.
ain't, ownership is in lot with him, and they're not going anywhere. And if you have a guy you can believe in, like I think Antonio Pierce is, I do. I don't see any reason not to go long term. Hey, they gave John Gruden 10 years, and he hadn't even been on the sideline for forever. So
Lord have mercy.
yeah.
So, uh, in other news, Harbaugh, right?
Mm-hmm.
Michigan is trying to keep him. So Michigan is trying to
Yeah.
do like a 10-year deal,
Yeah. They just
hundred and something million
if
dollars, something crazy.
he
Do
only has to
you?
promise not to go to the NFL next year. Is that so? We can do the circus again in a couple of years, with the offer that they made to him. So
So, but let me ask you this: Do
yeah.
you, if you're Jim Harbaugh, right, and the Chargers come calling, and they say we'll give you GM/coach
Which he
position,
wants.
we'll pay you, which is he wants that, and we'll pay you 14, 13 million dollars a year, 15 million, whatever. Say it's $15 million, round a good number, 15. Michigan comes and say we'll give you 12 or 13, less headache of the NFL. You got more, but I wouldn't even call it more freedom because he's been in trouble
Mm-hmm.
so much this year for trying to just do stuff. Honestly, you can't even call it freedom in college anymore because
Yeah.
they're probably tracking every move he makes now.
Oh
So
yeah, they're gonna have the microscope.
honestly, oh, it's definitely on him. Even with recruiting, if he does anything wrong at recruiting, they're gonna suspend him for something. Now, do you take the job as me personally, I'm taking the job as the GM coach of the Chargers with Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert needs that more than anything. So,
I think the Chargers should want him. If I'm Harbaugh, I'm staying in Michigan, despite the craziness. And yeah, when you mentioned it, I knew Angelo was gonna love this. So he's a big Michigan dude. if I'm Harbaugh, I'm staying in Michigan just because for me, there's no better job on earth than being the head coach of a
Okay.
winning college football team. You are literally a god in that town, and can do no. Hey, the NCAA can say whatever they want as long as Michigan wins, especially if they beat Alabama coming up. Then he can write his own check and run the entire state as far as he is, and they're gonna keep throwing more and more money at him to keep him there. And I think his personality, I think he's one of the rare coaches that could be successful, and he has been successful in the NFL and in college. But I really think he's a great college coach. I, and though I think he would be successful, the world of the NFL, they ain't loyal. You know what I'm saying? We've already seen it this year. They will turn on you quickly. In college, as long as he continues to beat Ohio State, there's nothing in the world that he can't do. Let's hit this. Just chiming in, offering a contract for the same stability JJ just mentioned, something we haven't had for years. Would you be surprised if he stays? But understand why they are doing it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's that stability. Look, is there a better? Who would you rather be, president of the United States or Nick Saban down in
I
Alabama?
mean, Nick Saban,
I'm
obviously.
gonna be out.
What?
I'm
Well,
gonna be there because that's he's got that job until he dies, and probably 5 years after that, he'll still be the coach of Alabama because you are a deity,
eh,
and the
I
NFL
get that.
can't
I get
match
what
that.
you're saying.
Yeah,
But see, but the thing, see what Nick, and that's a good comparison. Nick Saban
yeah,
and Jim Harbaugh, because Nick Saban and Jim Harbaugh are in the same situation to where they can stay there forever
yeah,
and nobody can say nothing to them. But the problem is Nick Saban tried the NFL and
yeah.
he wasn't
He
successful
crapped out.
at all. He crapped out. The thing is with Jim Harbaugh, he was
He's done it.
successful, very successful
The
as an
only
NFL
problem
coach.
he had was he wasn't the GM in that
He
button
wasn't the
heads.
GM.
so
Yeah,
so
and
yeah, this
he wanted to bring in his players that he wanted, and he built a great team in San
yeah.
Francisco. We went to the NFC Championship game 3 years in a row with him,
Mm-hmm.
with the Super Bowl appearance. So he was a great coach in the NFL. That's why he can get that offer from the Chargers and say,
Yeah.
you know what, we know what you can do in the NFL. That's not the issue. We need you to come fix the situation for Justin Herbert because Justin Herbert needs, if you're talking stability, he needs stability the most out of any quarterback because his coach has been horrible for the last two coaches haven't been really good. So he needs that stability. Now that's the only job that has that GM/coach open. So that's the only job they say he
Yeah.
avoided the question today when he was asked it. So he kind of ducked it a little bit. But
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what he do because if they throw him 15-16 million to
Oh,
be the GM and the coach,
they gonna
that's
throw.
hard to turn down.
He's gonna make a lot of money. Whether it's staying in Michigan or going to the Chargers, he's gonna make a lot of money this all season. But for me, I just look. We already see what the Raiders are doing, and I'm biased, but the Raiders
Yeah.
are legit as a team, and I think they're gonna get better. There's a bad year for the Chiefs, but you already go in knowing you're gonna be facing up against Patrick Mahomes for the next 10 plus some kind of years. And going against Andy Reid as long as he stops to stay there. I'm not saying Jim can't do it in the NFL because, like you say, he's done it before. But put that situation versus being in Michigan where you got maybe 3 really tough games you got to worry about all year versus week to week hassle. And as soon as this thing doesn't work with the Chargers, which it's, hey, the Chargers' history, it's very likely to go bad still, even with him
Yeah,
there.
that's true.
And then you can probably go back to college again after that. But I'm taking for me, I'm taking hey, I know I can win in college. He's going to win at Michigan for years to come. And it's just so much more difficulty, so much more scrutiny. You know what I'm saying? The press, in Los Angeles is not going to be as kind as they're going to be in Ann Arbor, Michigan. They're never gonna write a bad story about Harbaugh up in Michigan. They're gonna kiss his butt until the cows come home or whatever comes home in Ann Arbor. You go to Los Angeles, you got to deal with the real media. You got to deal with real problems. You got to deal with the fact that you can't just say, "I'm Michigan, come to my school." You got to go through the draft. And, those things don't. The NFL is designed for parity. It's put together so every team can compete on any given week. In college, no. And now that they're going to have a 12-team playoff, Michigan's going to be in a playoff every year as long as Jim Harbaugh is there. And he's not going to have a chance of, unless he just lost to Ohio State like 5 years in a row, he's not going to lose that job. And so for me, I don't take a big payday here. I'm looking at the long-term picture. I stay in Michigan, but I'm not surprised. Like, I'm not surprised if he goes to the NFL, especially if that's what he really wants to do. But he's a Michigan guy, so for me, I'm staying with my alma mater and doing my thing. But it's gonna be fun to see what happens.
I mean, I get it, and I don't know, man. I think they're gonna throw so much of a bag at him, man. It's gonna be crazy for him to just. If they give him any type of control of that team, GM, whatever, he's gonna take it because that's always what he wanted. I believe in my heart of hearts, he still would be in the NFL today.
Yeah.
If the 49ers would have gave him GM control of that team, and we would have probably won some Super Bowls because he had the team that was built around it, and he was that type of coach. So I think he would still be in the NFL. I think when that happened and he didn't get that control, because he has control now to not draft, but get any player he wants in college. And that's basically a GM role is what he's doing there. Exactly. He would want the same thing in the NFL. So if they throw him a bag to where it's unquestionable that he gotta take it, don't be surprised. But we'll see. I don't know. I think it's crazy.
But he takes that job. Is there a division with better coaching? Top to bottom than the AFC West, because in that case you would have Andy Reid, Antonio Pierce, Sean Payton, and maybe throw in a Jim Harbaugh in that situation.
I mean, but even when he was with the 49ers, the NFC was tougher back then when he was with the 49ers than the NFC is now, because the NFC is top heavy. If you think about the NFC, it's us, Philly. I mean, I hate to say Dallas because they got to win a record. It's only about 4 or 5 good teams in the East in the NFC right now. If you go top heavy, everybody else is right in the pack together. I mean, we were beating the Green Bays of the world back then. You see what I'm saying? That had Aaron Rodgers and all those players. We was beating those good teams.
I'm more so not just the teams. I'm talking about from a head coaching standpoint.
I think he can keep up with them. I know he can.
With those I'm guys. Just saying, is that good, the toughest division to coach in? Because you're going to go against a whole group of guys. As much as I have my questions about Sean Payton and how he handled this Russell Wilson situation, the guy can coach, and he's one of the good minds. I think that's going to be a tough job to walk into.
Okay, it would, but if you had to rate all the coaches, say hypothetically he took the job, if you had to rank all the coaches in that division, from Andy Reid to Sean Payton to Jim Harbaugh to Antonio Pierce keeps the job, who has a better resume in that right now outside of Andy Reid?
Yeah, he's the only one.
It's a toss up, really. Yeah, he's the only one. It's a toss up between Sean Payton and
has they
I mean. You can really pick your poison, Sean Payton or Jim Harbaugh at that point, because to me, Jim Harbaugh, yes, he didn't win it, but Jim Harbaugh has been way more successful
he's got a resume
than Sean Payton.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, me personally, Sean Payton would slide to 3, Antonio Pierce would be 4, Jim Harbaugh would slide right below Andrew.
Only because of inexperience.
Of course, inexperience, yes. But if we talking just coaching pedigree, Jim Harbaugh would slide right at 2 underneath Andy Reid in that division alone. Even with a Justin Herbert, he got the second best quarterback in the division.
Okay.
So I mean, it's an argument to be made. He got to make the best decision for him, obviously, and for Angelo. I hope he stay at Michigan for your sake. But I think the NFL is coming. It's coming. They calling for him.
Yeah.
He gonna end up there. He gonna there someday. You know.
The Raiders tried to get him, but I don't think tried enough. So if he didn't come,
they won't go pay him that.
Look, if he didn't come to be with the Raiders, he should stay in Michigan. That's my point.
No, that's how you feel. That's how you feel.
That's 100%
how
I feel.
I get it. So I got a question, and I read this the other day, right? That I think this is absurd. This guy is crazy. The offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, he said that he wants to get $15 million a year to be the head coach of anybody's team. In what world is he getting $15 million a year? And what do you have? If you're talking about resumes, what's on yours?
He's going to be highly sought after. I get it.
$15 million a year, though?
But yeah, that's like 15 mil. That's insane. I can't see anybody doing that one. Except he's not in the who's not the owner anymore. Dan Snyder. He's the kind of owner that would do something like that. But since he's not in the league anymore, yeah, I don't think there's anybody crazy enough to do 15 million for unproven.
Not for no unproven.
Yeah.
And I read that, and I'm like, wait a minute, you asking for $15 million a year, and
he's
just
asking to stay offensive coordinator of Detroit. That's basically what he's doing.
That's what he's asking.
Yeah.
Nobody's giving you $15 million a year. I mean, no, I think that's just the craziest thing ever. Shouldn't happen. Wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I can't see that going
down. MVP race. Who do you have?
I already told you.
MVP race?
Trent Williams is the obvious MVP of this year. But for me, honestly, I don't think there's a quarterback that really deserves. And I've said this before. I don't think there's a quarterback that really deserves to be the MVP this year. Mm-hmm. I wish you could give it to a defense, but since you got to go with a player, and I can't have Trent Williams. Mm-hmm. For me, I'm going to still go with, if Tyreek Hill gets to 2,000, give it to a wide receiver because that never happens. Or give it to CMC because if you're going to give it to an offensive player on the 49ers, not Brock Purdy, I think CMC definitely. So for me, Tyreek Hill or CMC are the only two guys that I really think deserve the MVP this year. I think it probably will go to a quarterback, but I don't really think any quarterback deserves it.
Well, if you're going to give it to a quarterback, I feel like you should name it the Quarterback of the Year award because, like you say,
it practically is.
None of them deserve it. Yeah, so, but my thing is, none of them deserve it. Not one quarterback deserves it. It's got to be one of those skill players. So you should name it Quarterback of the Year award, and then the Offensive Player of the Year award goes to one of those guys, and then just keep it that way because you got to rename it. Now, who's your dark horse to win the MVP?
Well, he's not a dark horse because he's probably the favorite. But in my mind, the dark horse would be give it to a Lamar. But let's see. If I'm going to go actual dark horse, I'm still go back to
like a dark horse,
an actual dark horse. I'm gonna still go back to Trent Williams then. Because look,
stop playing, man.
All the evidence is right there. If Trent Williams is not playing, or if Trent Williams is hobbled, the 49ers are garbage. If Trent Williams is playing and he's 100%, the 49ers are unbeatable.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Because Trent Williams makes that team go if he's not on the line. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. Look, I'm with you there.
Maybe a dark horse would be like Raheem Mostert just because of the number of touchdowns he put up this year. But I don't really think if I'm giving it to him, then I'm saying Tyreek should have it because if anyone on that team deserves it, it's him. I would love to say C.J. Stroud if he didn't get hurt at the end of the year.
Oh my gosh, I would have loved. I love C.J. Stroud
because C.J. Stroud was looking like straight phenomenal.
Yeah.
let me see who else. What I will say is a dark horse candidate. Someone that's come on. I don't know who else you got in mind.
I say Josh Allen.
If
Josh Allen got 40
if they
touchdowns this year.
come back, that's what I hadn't considered. Yeah, if they come back and especially to win that division, I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that at all.
I say Josh. I say Josh Allen is a dark horse for me. Tua,
Nah.
because no, hear me out. Hear me
Okay,
out.
I'm listening.
Because just hear me out. I'm not saying he gonna win it. I just said
Oh yeah, you
he
said dark
needs
horse,
to be.
so you
He
get
needs
some
to be in the
leeway.
conversation because I say this: if Brock Purdy can be in the conversation for MVP, and McCaffrey is the main reason why he's in the conversation, and you saying Brock Purdy deserves over McCaffrey, then you got to put Tua in there because Tua is throwing to Tyreek Hill, who may get 2,000 yards.
I would say that Tua is just as undeserving of the MVP as
Of
Brock
course,
Purdy.
no,
So I put him. So
I,
sure,
I
if
understand.
we're gonna put one of those
Yeah,
guys in there, then sure, the other
but
one can be
see, but
considered.
that's what I'm saying. My
Yeah,
argument is this: I'm not saying he deserves to win it. I'm saying I'm going back to the fact that people saying Brock deserved it, even though McCaffrey
yeah,
is the thing that makes it go in San Francisco. It's just like Tyreek. Tyreek gonna get 2,000, but
yeah.
that quarterback is throwing to him. And right now, Tua I think is fourth in the MVP race, which is crazy because I mean, yes, he is the quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
but is he getting recognized as the guy of really being the reason why Tyreek is the reason why he's doing his work? And I don't. Tyreek is getting a lot of those yards after the catch because he's burning players
Yeah.
down the sideline. So I mean, but you can make an argument. That's all I'm saying. But I
Can
think really Josh Allen is good.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna. I really do like the Josh Allen pick. In a year where quarterbacks really haven't, no quarterback has really lit it up uh, to the extent I think reaches MVP level. Can you think of a
Mhm.
defensive player that would be deserving of MVP consideration? Because for the teams that I think have the best shot at winning the championship this year, it's all because of defense. For like your team
Ooh.
especially on the 49ers, the Ravens definitely I think can win because of defense. Even though I don't think they're going to do it because they offense is crazily the weak point of the team. If the Chiefs manage to win a Super Bowl this year, it will be because of that defense that
Defense,
they
yeah.
have. It has absolutely nothing to do with the offense the way they've been playing. Is there a defensive?
Mm.
Cause it's hard to really single out defense for a player to win MVP. But I'm trying to think. Is there?
Oh, that's a tough
Because
one,
I can
man.
think of some
That's a
units that
good
I
one
would
there.
love to give an MVP award,
Ooh.
but a single defensive
Oh
player,
man.
and I even let you
That's
pick.
tough. I
I even
don't
let you
know.
pick somebody from your team because I know. Well,
I
y'all have a
mean,
lot of candidates. I say that
Fred
much.
Warner.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
I mean, I would say Fred Warner may be a candidate for maybe Fred Warner. Um, ooh, that's a tough one there. That's a good question there, man.
Yeah.
Michael Parson.
I love Michael Parson. He annoys the crap out of me with his podcast.
Yes, he does.
So
He
I'm like,
does.
can you stay off of your podcast for a little bit? I would like you a whole lot more.
Oh man, that's a tough one, man. Defensive possible who would be in the running. Oh gosh.
If they can make the playoffs, would you consider
I'm
Miles Garrett? Do you think he
of
has?
course.
Do you think he has
Yes.
the stats? T.J. Watt, of course, but I don't think
Miles Garrett,
I don't think
TJ Watt, obviously.
the Steelers are going to have the success to warrant an MVP pick. But that I say this for a fact. The fact that the Steelers have a chance to have a winning record is 100% because of their defense.
I give you one, Dark Horse, from the Chargers, linebacker. He leads the league in sacks, or he's right there, first or second in sacks. What's his name? Yeah, vet too. He used to play for y'all, the Raiders.
Oh, Khalil Mack. He used to play
Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack.
Yeah, I see Angelo's chiming in for T.J. Watt. Look, T.J. Watt's a beast.
Khalil Mack he's second in sacks with like 16 or 17, something like that. I think T.J. Watt leads the league in sacks with 17, and I think Khalil Mack has 16. So if you thinking from each team, it's got to be T.J. Watt, Khalil Mack, Fred Warner. But Fred Warner don't really get sacks. He more is a coverage type of linebacker. He gets interceptions more than anything. T.J. Watt might be it, bro. But the thing is, they would never do it though. They would never do it. And
but since you were saying since you were saying dark horses, I'm like the real dark horse. This to me would be the year to go outside the box and give it.
They're not gonna do it though.
Give it to a Trent Williams or give it to a T.J. Watt or somebody that's just a symbol, if you will, for teamwork.
Yeah.
And be viable.
But they'll give it to Lamar before they give it to.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna give it to Lamar before they give it to any of the. They'll give like CMC is gonna probably get Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Between CMC or Tyreek.
Yeah.
But they're gonna give it to Lamar, even though Lamar is middle of the pack in like every stat. 13, 14, and I'm not hating. That's just where he's at. He's 13, 14 in yards, touchdowns. And I will say this: Lamar has won the MVP with lesser stats.
Yeah,
because he won the MVP with lesser yards passing. He just had more yards rushing when he did win the MVP. He had 3,100 yards when he won the MVP before. He has 33 now. He got like 800 yards or 782 rushing. So his numbers are not quite the same.
Yeah. But
passing is a little bit more. He has fewer touchdowns. So they're going to give it to Lamar because he's a quarterback. That's why I said earlier, if you're going to do that, you should make it the Quarterback of the Year award and then have the Offensive Player award. Because just separate the two. Because it's never going to be a fair shot for anybody outside of a quarterback.
I say now, if it's City, I'm still going to go back to your Josh Allen one. If they win that division, I can kind of live with that one.
You gotta go Josh Allen.
I actually do like that one. But other than him, I can't think of a quarterback that I would be entirely happy with winning the MVP this year. So that's some good choices.
I think I'm telling you, if they overtake the Dolphins and they win the division,
will they?
And they finish.
And I can't remember in our preseason picks. I know I picked the Bills to win the division. Did you pick the Bills or the Dolphins? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
You remember?
I probably picked the Dolphins or the Bills. One of the two. It probably was the Bills, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I probably picked the Bills. But
do you think they do it now, or do you think the Dolphins end up with it just because?
I think no. If they overtake them and get the number 2 seed, I think he deserves MVP over Lamar. I mean, because what he's doing, he has better numbers, even though people keep saying numbers don't matter.
Yeah.
Which
numbers
it's hard for me to believe that numbers do matter. I'm sorry. I would definitely say Josh Allen. And that's a long shot.
But do you know what you're doing right now? Are you aware of what you're doing? Because I know we're just talking freely, but you're making.
I'm not doing that.
You're jinxing him. I just think you should know.
I'm not doing it.
You might be a little.
No, I'm not.
Maybe a little.
No, I'm not. Josh Allen, you're trash. You're trash, Josh Allen. You're trash. You're so trash. You're trash, Josh Allen. You're so people. I'm lying. He's not trash. But Josh Allen, since I'm the quarterback, jinx, you are trash, bro. You are playing horrible. I'm just saying. You're stinking up the field. Don't do me like that. I'm not a quarterback genius. I'm not. But I'm just saying, I think he's the dark horse.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. We also got a shout, Jasper Lewis the senior chiming in. Kay Franklin leading the league in tackles the last 2 years.
Yeah. I don't think it's about tackles. I think it's about sacks.
They're sexier.
I think it's about sacks. Yeah, the sacks. Yeah, the sacks. You get the sacks get a little bit more ring to it. He lead the league in sacks.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, tackles is cool. I mean, if you get 100+ tackles a year, you're awesome anyway. But it's just it's just sacks. Like Angela say, sacks, tackles for loss. That means you're getting back in it. You're getting into the backfield. You're stopping the play, and you kind of getting the ball back to your offense. So it's like you doing those things, and it's helping the offense. So tackles is cool, but I mean, they think more of sacks than tackles. To be honest with you, you could, unless you got like 200 tackles, then you would have to be in the conversation. So, defensive player of the year, T.J. Watt or Michael Parsons? Because people saying Michael Parsons, even though Michael Parsons to me don't deserve it.
Yeah, I don't give it to
It's
him.
been games when he's disappeared.
For me, there's no right answer other than T.J. Watt. Honestly, I see Angelo saying that he leads the lead in sacks and tackles for the loss. TJ, look, the difference between that defense. Look, a year ago when they didn't have TJ Watt for that whole year practically, and then this year that he's been balling, he's good and he makes the guys around him better. And so I think that for me that should give you some sort of stake in the most valuable player because he makes that defense better and demonstratively better if you look at them from a year ago. So, but it won't happen.
Okay,
like you said. You got anything else?
That's it. I ain't got much. Oh, I do got one. Last one.
I was going. Okay, good. Because I had one thing for you too. Go ahead.
Last one. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Puka or C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud had my vote until he missed the last few weeks. Hey.
Oh gosh,
if he could have got his team to the playoffs, it would be C.J. Stroud all day.
They're in the playoffs.
He ain't there.
They're in the playoffs now.
He ain't there though.
They've been losing since he ain't been there. What are you talking about?
I say this.
He's the reason why they there.
He's the reason they're in the position they're in. It's got to be between C.J. Stroud. I'm not the one to ask because I'm a little bitter on C.J. Stroud because I was winning my championship because of him, and then he stopped playing, and my teams fell apart. So I'm gonna. I love C.J. Stroud, and I would not be mad if he got it. But it's also hard to deny what Puka's been doing this year. Puka came out of
you can't deny.
But
you can't deny Puka. Yes, I give you that. But still, C.J. Stroud is the reason why they're in the playoffs or in the playoff race to make the playoffs. Since he's been injured, they've lost games. They haven't won. Do you see this comment?
Yeah.
You see this comment?
Jameis Winston for MVP?
Well, the problem with that is Jameis Winston had 33 interceptions. He had actually 35 turnovers. He had 2 fumbles and 33 interceptions that year. So you can't really give him the co-MVP because they look at interceptions as a bad thing. Not a good thing, but a bad thing. Yeah. And they look at fumbles as a bad thing. So yes, 5,000 yards is great. For fantasy football in our league, 5,000 yards is excellent. 30 touchdowns is excellent. 33 interceptions ain't even bad in our league, but it's bad in most leagues.
Yeah.
So, but Josh Allen doesn't have 33 interceptions this year, though.
But he is leading the league. Machine. But he is leading the league in turnover, interceptions. I think Josh Allen.
But it's not 33.
You said earlier that numbers. They say the numbers don't matter. In this case for Josh Allen, I say the numbers won't matter because the story will be, and it's all about writing the story. That's why they want to give Brock Purdy the MVP. The Josh Allen story is
that's
they
the story.
started off really bad. He was throwing too many interceptions. They were losing games they should have won, but they turned it around. So the Josh Allen narrative becomes he turned it around. Now they're winning. This guy should get the MVP. That's why I can buy. That's why I can buy it as a story.
That's all I'm saying, because they literally when they was playing bad, Josh Allen was looking bad. They wrote the story that the Bills weren't going to make the playoffs. They were done. Yeah. But now they're winning. If they find somehow, some way to win a division
right
and do it's a story there. They can say, look what he did in the end. He did this and did that. Well, and I understand, Anita. I understand we getting this, but 33 interceptions and 35 turnovers in a year is a whole lot.
That's a lot.
There, Josh Allen has what? How many interceptions
15,
he got? 14, 15?
I think it's 15.
It's not about a black or white thing. It's not about a black or white quarterback. It don't matter. If Josh Allen,
it's the MVP race becomes all about a narrative that you can weave together.
It's a narrative. It's not about a black and white thing.
But I will say this. I said I'm not mad at Josh Allen winning the MVP because of the story. I'm not mad at Lamar Jackson winning the MVP too. But
I think Lamar Jackson deserves the MVP. To be real with you,
I still stand on. I don't think any quarterback really deserves it this year. But
what I'm saying is, if you're gonna give it to a quarterback, Lamar Jackson is the one that
I think those are the only.
Now, you're gonna give it to an offensive player.
Is Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Yeah. I was saying Jalen Hurts earlier in the year, but the last few he needs to clean up a couple of things.
It's been a little
they need
that's what I'm saying. It's not about, like, I'm on record saying Purdy does not deserve the MVP. Anybody that know me has heard me say this numerous of times, to say Purdy doesn't deserve it because Purdy is playing with a stacked roster.
He's a system guy.
That's the whole. He's a system guy.
He's
no
great
matter how
in
you
that system. Don't get me wrong. I actually have gained some more respect for Brock Purdy as a quarterback, but not enough to say he's an MVP level guy.
And let's be real. If you stick Lamar in that 49ers offense, Lamar is going to be 100 times better than Brock Purdy.
No, want to know why he won't be? Because Kyle Shanahan's going to run him up the center and get his leg broke in like 3 games at most.
Yeah, sure. Now, okay, and the thing is, Brock Purdy is playing with all-world talent at every position except left guard on down. So if you're telling me, if you stick any quarterback, black or white, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, any quarterback, Deshaun Watson, any quarterback in that offense, they're going to look good no matter what. And it's going to be the same conversation. Do they really deserve the MVP because of what they're playing with?
Jimmy Garoppolo looked good in that offense. So that should be the hands down proof. You don't got to be that good to win.
So what I'm saying is, that's why I say Purdy doesn't deserve MVP. If anything, you should give it to somebody like Tyreek Hill or CMC, because those are the guys that make it go.
Those are like even front runners.
Tua don't deserve.
Yeah.
Tua don't even deserve to be in the conversation. I just said because he's throwing to him. Yeah. But my thing is this: Tua is not the reason why they're winning. You seen what they did when he went out the game. When Tyreek Hill went out the game, they played like crap. They didn't look well. So at the end of the day, you got to think of it's okay. Who's making the team better? Josh Allen has not played with anybody outside of Diggs in that offense. They have not had a second receiver, and you can't even say what's the boy name that everybody liked. He had a good game against the Chiefs that one year.
Oh,
I can't think of his name. Gabe Davis is such a hit or miss receiver. He doesn't show up at all. So Josh Allen is Josh Allen. Thank you. Yeah. It's been Josh Allen and it's been Diggs the whole time that's keeping that offense going. Now it's Cook. So you got Josh Allen, Diggs, and Cooks that's making the offense go. If you stick Josh Allen on the 49ers, we're going undefeated with Josh Allen because of the talent around him. So that's all I'm saying. If Josh Allen can will that team back with less talent than any other team in the league, you got to at least consider it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
We'll see. Hey, I said
But
it's gonna be interesting to see how that MVP race comes out and which quarterback they decide to give it to. So we'll
yeah,
see.
because it's not gonna be a skill player.
I hope
Yeah.
it is. I hope the voters watch RJ and they realize that I'm 100% right and you should give it to Trent Williams. Before we go,
You should.
New Year's is coming up. I know one of your plans. You're going to be watching your team beat the bricks off the Commanders. I'm sure. What else you got going for the new
Yeah,
year?
yeah. So it's an early game, so I should be back around 8:30 ish. Now I'm gonna try to go to church. I'm gonna try to make it. Actually, I might need to go because, and I do want to say something before we get off
Yeah.
air. Um, so I might need to go to church because of that. What I
Yeah.
gotta say? So I'm gonna try to make it to church that night because I like to bring in the new year how I left it. So going to church type thing. So I'm gonna try to do that. So other than that, man, not much. I'm in the crib most of the time if I'm not at church. So I ain't going out to no club or nothing.
Any traditions? You do the black eyed peas and all that other stuff.
No, none of that.
Black eyed
No,
peas
nope,
are horrible.
nope.
If I need
Oh
what
no,
what about what is it collard greens? The other thing that people do on New Year's, I think.
collard green. I
Yeah,
guess I don't know.
I
I
do
don't do
that.
none of that stuff.
I would never eat a black eyed pea if I can help it. If they bring me good luck,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
eat.
have bad luck every year. So
Nah, I don't eat
yeah.
peas as it is. So nah, I'm good, Cap. Nope.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
so like I said, we'll be ringing in the new year down here in the boots, as they say. So I don't know what we're gonna get into, but hopefully it'll be something fun and safe. And so everybody else, I hope you have a great new year. And hey, if you're in the championship week, great. Good luck to you guys. Like Justin, I know is in there. I didn't see her, but just to shout out Catherine, Bracy, and Carla. They're both in the women's fantasy football league championship. So good luck to both of you all. Because I'm assuming since I didn't see you tonight, you're watching us on a read stream. But that's about all I got going on. I'll let you end the show because I know what you want to chat on before we go.
So we got and like your mom in the chat, a lot of people know. But we had a loss. Our friend,
Yeah.
he passed away on what day was it? He passed away last week. I want to say it was a Tuesday or something. I can't remember, but he passed. Not sure how. They say he passed out. Such a thing. Well, he passed out. He stopped breathing, so he did pass out, and he was head of and that's why I say I probably got to be at church. He was
Yes.
head of the PR department at our church, and I worked up there with him for 15 years. It'll be 15 years this year.
Mm-hmm.
It was tough because now obviously somebody got to step up and kind of fill that duty of him not being there because he did a lot. He did a whole lot, um, just in general for the church. And we both know him.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is, um, I got him, he's a 49ers fan also. So I got him tickets. Well, I didn't pay for them, but I got him connected to somebody to get him tickets to the 49er game on Sunday, which
Mm-hmm.
he can't make now because he passed away. So hopefully, keeping his family in prayer and things of that nature. So, and I know the funeral is coming up soon. So I just wanted to say that,
Yeah.
lost
Yeah.
a good one. He was really good, man. He was really good.
Yeah, despite being a 49er fan, Dre was the greatest. Right? A lot of the stuff that we do here on the show, I learned from working with him. Also, with you, he did cameras, audio, everything in this thing. So a lot of the skills that you see happening on R&J Fantasy Football Talk is stuff that we put together, learning. Working with him and then just taking it, from there. So, definitely prayers for the fam. He was a good dude. So
Yeah, he was young, man. I want to say he just turned 50. He was young, and that's young nowadays. So it's like for him to see him go so shockingly like that, and you get the call, and he's gone within the hour or so of getting a call. It was something dramatic. So it was bad.
yeah,
But hey, I'm gonna gotta hold it down for him, man. And we had it was hard because Sunday
yeah,
we obviously had to go to church, and it was the first time we did it without him being there. And crazy part is it ran smooth.
yeah.
We all prayed beforehand, and we knew it was like he was watching over us,
Yeah.
showing us, "Hey, y'all gonna be all right." Now we had a few hookups, but we
Yeah.
fixed it along the way.
Look, there's always hookups doing that technology.
So we,
Hiccups
we had it
happen.
like we had a few TVs go out because
Yeah.
somebody hit a switch or something, but we figured it out and we got it back on. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we knew he was watching over us, and just keep me in prayer because that's
Always.
hard. This is a
Yeah.
tough one for
Yeah.
me because I was up there with him
Yeah. That booth
and
would
we was
never
about
be
to
the
go see.
same. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no,
That
oh
booth.
no, because and you understand more than anything because we was
Yeah.
in the booth. I
Oh.
met you in the booth,
Exactly.
so
That's how we connected.
so
Working up.
So I met you in the booth. In the booth, anybody that know the booth ain't no bigger than the shoebox. It's enough to fit about 6 people in there, and we used to have about 10 people in
Like
there, man, including the kids
uh
that's grown now that's working for us. So we used to be packed up in there, man, and it was crazy because it's we all argued. We got mad with each other. We got upset when stuff didn't work. He fussed at us. But at the end of the day, when service is over, it was like, all right, man, I see y'all next Sunday, man. Y'all be good, blah, blah, blah. And it ended well. It
yeah.
never, people never left mad at each other. And it was always a family thing. So at the end of the day, man, I'm going to miss him. He taught me a lot. Um, and some things that he did that I didn't know that I'm going to have to just rely on just
Mm.
picking up on my own because I know if I had a question, I could call him and say, "Hey, what you know about?" And I'm talking about in my daily life of working on stuff at work, hanging TVs, trying to get some technology done at work. He always knew what to do, and he would be
Mm-hmm.
like, "Won't you try this and try that?" Can't make that phone call no more. So, rest in peace, man. Love you. Definitely that one hurt.
Yes, sir. All right.
So,
Well, that's it for this week. Hey, good luck to everybody again, and have a blessed new year. Stay safe.
stay safe.
And hey, we'll be back doing our thing. See y'all later. See y'all. Look, see you on the other
All
side
right.
of 2024. Peace.
See you.
Peace.